Professors explain Valentine's Day. What is the proper way to send a Valentine?
Well, according to Rule 4, of course,
hand delivery is the way to go. And you've got to choose the right person to effect the delivery.
Of course, you can also leave it with
a trustworthy acquaintance of suitable age and maturity. There can't be any doubt that your message has been received.
The party himself cannot make service. It has to be a neutral third party. And that person has to be in a position to file an affidavit of service.
Now, if all else fails and your intended cannot receive your summons in person, you still have one more option.
You can rely on any method of service that's specified in state law. And of course, Rule 11 requires that all of the statements that appear both in the document and in the affidavit of service have to satisfy the standard for honesty and integrity.
How should I write a Valentine?
All communication is persuasion.
You absolutely have to front load.
Start with your bottom line up front.
Get your thesis right up front.
Otherwise, why would they invest time with you?
Headings, or at least topic sentences, can make sure that your intended can follow your line of emotional reasoning.
In any writing or conversation, people are trying to get the other person to do what they want, even if that's just seeing them as credible or someone they want to work with.
Look, if you're trying to make a point about civil procedure, don't write around the issue. Just say it.
A skeptical reader may not always appreciate your humor.
But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try.
Your long-term goal is to be a partner.
Above all, use plain, accessible language. No 25-cent words or overheated rhetoric.
Even if that's not true, don't tell anyone that until you're ready to leave.
What if I receive a Valentine from my ex?
So that would be wrong.
We have a variety of interpretive modalities available to help us interpret statements such as that.
UCC sections 2602 and 2603 give us guidance on this issue.
Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I think it's very important. Again, you have to know.
You try to figure out what were the general purposes that were being pursued.
However, rightful rejection does mean that the recipient must follow any reasonable instructions received from the sender.
Was there some other conversation that happened? Are we allowed to consider that other conversation?
And in the absence of such instructions, must make reasonable efforts to dispose of the thing.
Originalists are divided about this. Some originalists want to get into the minds of the authors and figure out what the authors were saying.
The recipient must properly reject, but has no further obligation.
And consider the surrounding context.
The prevailing view among originalists today is that you look at,
In complying with this section, the recipient is held only to good faith, and good faith conduct hereunder is neither acceptance nor conversion nor the basis for an action for damages.
Wrong as they may be, that is their right.